A thunder of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you doing?
Signing autographs. Let's see. John Smith.
But your name is Bullwinkle.
I know, but that's hard to spell.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. Come on and join us.
Sure, there's always room for one more.
Last time our heroes learned from Captain Peter Peachfuzz, the new head of G2, the strange story of Upsidasium, discovered on the slopes of Mount Flatten by an old prospector. This fabulous anti-gravity metal had set scientists on their ears until the entire world's supply had been lost by accident. Not only that, but when the old prospector learned that the mountain was already owned by Bullwinkle's uncle, he said,
"Well, he'll never find it.
Why not?
Because it's nowhere to find."
Gee, a lost mountain, and now it's all yours, Bullwinkle.
Yeah, it's the nicest present I never had.
On to Mount Flatten, hey, fellas?
well, almost anyway, for on the track ahead, Boris Badenov waited beside an open switch.
Boris, darling, why you wrecking train?
He's on train, Moose and Squirrel. They won't give us D to Upsidasium mine, so...
You got orders from Central Control?
You think I can't make my own decisions? You think I'm just a stooge for Central Control?
No, darling.
Well, you're wrong. I am. Hello, fearless leader, old body boy, old chum, old sweetie pumpkin.
Come in, Badenov.
Is this fearless leader?
Of course.
Are you sure?
Badenov, you incompetent nincompoop.
Man, that's him all right. Fearless leader, switch is open, train is coming, okay?
One moment, I check with Mr. Big.
Mr. Big. This must be top-level caper we're on, Natasha.
Achtung!
Yes.
Mr. Big says, follow Moose and Squirrel to mine. Do not wreck train.
Do not! Quick, Natasha, pull switch back.
He's stuck, darling. I can't.
And the two villains tugged vainly at the switch lever as the train drew nearer and nearer.
No use, Boris. It won't work.
Natasha, we got to stop train.
And Boris dashed up the track toward the onrushing locomotive.
Hey, stop! Track is out! Yoo-hoo! Stop the train! Wait! Oh, boy!
Inside the cab of the locomotive, the alert engineers heard Boris's cry.
Sounds like someone shouting, stop the train, Chauncey.
Uh-huh.
I think he said the track is out.
Oh, you know how some people are. Pessimistic.
That's right, Chauncey. Let's see, did I discard or not?
Fortunately for everybody concerned, somebody else heard Boris's bellows.
Hey, there's someone standing on the tracks waving a red claw.
Must be practicing to be a bullfighter.
No, that's a warning to stop.
But we're not stopping.
Well, there's one way to fix that. Pull the emergency cord, Bullwinkle.
And Bullwinkle did just that. Instantly, the brakes went on, the wheels locked, and the passengers went flying.
We're saved, Rocky.
Yeah, I wonder who the hero was that flagged down the train.
Probably some grizzled old prospector.
You're absolutely right. Allow me to introduce myself. Mojave Max, GOP.
GOP?
Grizzled old prospector. This is my sidekick, that Validati.
Howdy, partner, darling.
Say, Rock, maybe they could help us find the lost mountain.
Bullwinkle, that's top secret.
You lost something, darling.
Yeah, but I'm not allowed to tell you what.
Is it bigger than Kumquat?
Yeah?
Smaller than Texas?
Yeah?
I know. It's a lost mountain.
Hey, that's right. She's pretty good at that game, Rock.
Just the same, we better get back on the train and yike!
Okay. I never yiked on a train, but...
Look, Bullwinkle, it's leaving without us.
Yes, the train was going on its way, leaving our heroes, mind you, at the mercy of Mojave Max and Death Valley Dottie. Don't miss our next thriller, Danger in the Desert, or Max Attacks.
And now it's time for...
Time for the dancing fool, Bullwinkle.
Again? And now for one of our special fairy tales.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, there was a girl named Cinderella. She was as pretty as a princess, but she wasn't a princess. She was only a, commoner. The one thing Cinderella wanted in this world was to live in the big castle on the hill. But since she was only a commoner, she wasn't even allowed to attend any of the castle functions. When she heard of any of these affairs, she would run to her bedroom, throw herself on the bed, and cry. She wasn't invited to the prune-plucking pageant. She wasn't invited to the harvest hop, and she wasn't invited to the biggest function of all, the grand anniversary ball.
Hello, honey. I'm your fairy godmother. I hope you don't mind my rearranging the furniture.
My fairy godmother. Now I can go to the ball.
You said it, honey. Go to Fairy Rentals. Make it possible for even commoners to go places in style. Just sign here.
Can I get into the castle?
Oh, look here, hon. The deluxe anniversary ball package. Only 100 gold grickles. Includes costume, transportation, and entrance to the castle.
Yeah, but can I marry the prince?
That's 10 grickles extra.
It's a deal.
And with that, the fairy showed Cinderella her finery. There were racks of dresses, hundreds of furs, boxes of jewels.
What about shoes?
I knew I forgot something.
Yes, the good fairy had brought only one pair of shoes with her.
This says 5B.
That's just my size.
But this one's a 13D.
13D?
Yes, it's roomy but comfortable.
That's pretty big.
It's wear this or go barefoot, hon.
I'll wear it.
So, that evening, resplendent in her new clothes, Cinderella approached the castle and entered.
Never mind, honey. You were unfashionably early anyway.
But you promised.
Good Fairy Rentals never fails. Just stand right here. And remember, this stuff is due back at midnight.
At last I'm going to get into the castle.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the castle wall, Prince Edgar the Mild was speaking with the Prime Minister.
I don't care, Bertie. I want to move.
It's impossible, Eddie.
But this old place is so drafty, and it's falling to bits. Look here.
Nevertheless, as long as you're a prince, you must reside in the palace.
Then I don't want to be a prince. I want to be something else.
Like what?
Well, how about an egg candler?
You haven't the training.
A yogurt tester? An owl trainer?
Face it, Eddie. All you've ever done is collect things. Stamps, butterflies, match covers.
Well, isn't there any call for match cover collectors out there?
No, Eddie. There's really only one way you can leave the castle.
And what's that?
You must marry a commoner.
A commoner? Never. That does it. Where can I find a commoner?
Hi. My name's Cinderella. You must be the prince. Hello, darling.
Is that a commoner?
You've got an eye for class because of the way you're looking.
Of course
at me.
not.
Daddy
Obviously,
always
a girl of
Daddy's
breeding.
in stocks and bonds. That a girl's breeding is just as plain as day to princes.
Too
and things
bad.
Like that. And that's why Mumsy, well, she says that finishing school means an awful lot to a girl like
She's
me.
a pretty
Would you
thing.
like to dance?
Dances well, too.
We're dancing at Valhalla. That's our summer place. I just dance till all
Oh, I
hours.
do
Except
wish she
during
were
the
a
polo
commoner.
season. Daddy's a
I'd marry her in a
man.
minute.
Just love to hit peasants with my polo mallet. Don't you?
Honey, be yourself. Be yourself.
And I'm so
Poor
sorry.
Cinderella.
You really wouldn't
She was missing her one
expect
opportunity to marry the
as I
prince,
am.
simply by not being herself. A little moral there.
Just so true.
And the time quickly went by until midnight.
T.S. Eliot crowd any place.
Of course, Cinderella had to flee the palace, but before she did so, she left a small token for the prince to return to her.
I'll just leave this small token for the prince to return to me.
My dear girl, please, I just said that.
I don't want anybody to miss the plot.
Well, Cinderella sat around with one shoe on for days. But she just knew the prince would come, and sure enough, he did.
Is this your shoe, little lady?
Yes, it is.
It doesn't fit very well.
Well, it's roomy but comfortable.
You're sure it's yours?
Yes. Now you put it on.
Put it on? I came to take the other one off.
But, Your Highness.
Highness, I'm not a prince. I'm a collector.
Acme Collection Agency. Deadbeats a specialty.
Yes, and you failed to return these shoes to Good Fairy Rentals.
But aren't we going to get married?
Married? I'm already married to a commoner.
Commoner than what, dearie?
So the prince got to leave the castle after all, and he and the good fairy lived happily ever after. And Cinderella, well, she finally got to live inside the castle.
Right. Good Fairy Rentals makes it possible for any, commoner to live like a queen.
Look, Bullwinkle, a message in a bottle.
Fan mail from some flounder?
No, this is what I really call a message. Once again, here's Bullwinkle's Corner.
Hello. Today's poem is The Village Blacksmith by Longfellow. Under a spreading chestnut tree, the village smithy stands. The muscles of his mighty arms are strong as rubber bands.
Iron bands.
Looky.
Rubber bands. Anyway, I want some shoes for my horse.
Certainly. Something in an Oxford?
Oxford?
How about some tennis shoes? Fine for badminton.
My horse doesn't play badminton.
How dull. Well, how about this dress horseshoe with matching spats?
Just a plain horseshoe, Mr. Smith.
Well, if you insist. Oh! Where'd it go? Oh! Under a spreading chestnut tree, the village Jonesy stands.
You mean Smithy.
I mean Jonesy. I just sold the place.
And now it's time
for 5 or 6 baritone solos in the key of E.
But
Oh!
now for another of our special features.
Should have tried E flat.
Hello out there, Peabody here, along with Sherman and Wayback. Wayback is a time machine. Sherman, a boy.
I set the Wayback Machine for July 8th, 1888, just like you told me, Mr. Peabody.
Good boy, Sherman. And now if you'll set the indicator for Richburg, Massachusetts, we'll be off. Off to witness the most titanic struggle in boxing history, the heavyweight championship battle between Jake Kilrain and the immortal John L. Sullivan. The Wayback, incomparable invention that it is, hurtled us back through time and space to the site of Sullivan's training camp.
Hello? This is O'Hara, Sullivan's manager. I'd like to bet $5,000 on Jake Kilrain. Well, that's what I said. 5,000 on Kilrain.
Excuse me, Mr. O'Hara, but are you really going to bet against your own fighter?
You're darn right I am. In John L.'s condition, he couldn't punch a clock.
O'Hara led the way to an outdoor ring.
There's your John L. Flat on his back, and he's been that way all week.
Too much training?
No, too much mustache. That mustache of his is so heavy he can't lift it.
Between the three of us, we managed to elevate Sullivan to a standing position.
Are you all right, Mr. Sullivan?
He can't speak, lad. Too much pressure on the lips. Stand clear for a second. We'll see how he does. John, me lad, why do you think I give you a razor on your birthday?
This is serious, Mr. Peabody. The fight takes place in an hour.
What fight? You mean the slaughter? Oh, if only there were something we could do.
There is.
What?
Shave him. O'Hara put in an urgent call for the nearest barber, and 10 minutes later...
There, how's that look?
Not his hair. The mustache. Cut his mustache.
And after another 10 minutes...
It's of no use, mister. This man's a mustache won't cut. I'm a roll of 5 a pair of C's, 4 combs, and a half a pair of tweezers.
Well, I'd best be calling up Kilrain's manager and telling him the fight's off.
Don't do that, Mr. O'Hara. Mr. Peabody will think of something.
And, of course, I did.
And in this corner, wearing black leotards and pink balloons, John on!
That sure was a great idea, Mr. Peabody. Those balloons are keeping the mustache up.
Now remember, Kilrain, keep away from that left balloon.
I don't like it. I ain't never fought no balloons before.
Don't worry about it. What comes up must come down.
Yeah, what's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. It just sounded like the right thing to say.
The fight was on. Round one found the two antagonists more or less sizing each other up. Sullivan could hardly raise a hand due to his inactivity of the past week, and thanks to my talents with a brush, Kilrain was confused by 3 mustachioed opponents.
How'd you get the black eye, Kilrain? I didn't see him hit you.
He didn't. That left balloon did.
Well, never you mind. Patience is a virtue.
I like what comes up must come down better. For 30 grueling rounds, the battle raged. At that point, John L. Sullivan was slightly ahead.
You fool. The judges took that round away from you.
But why? I never hit them below the belt.
No, but you hit them below the balloon. Now keep those punches high.
Kilrain did just that. Unfortunately, by round 75, no matter how high he aimed, he couldn't score. It seemed that Sullivan's balloons had inflated slightly, making him immune to a ground attack. Come down and fight, Sullivan!
Golly, Mr. Peabody, if John L. can keep away from Kilrain, he'll win a decision.
But fate proved otherwise, for John L.'s lofty position placed him directly under the powerful lights that gave off a staggering degree of heat.
He's down! Sullivan's down!
2, 3, 4, 5.
Get up, John L. Get up!
It's his mustache, Mr. Peabody. He'll never make it.
Nothing in this world'll make him rise.
It was then I noticed a gentleman in the first row digesting a huge platter of corned beef and cabbage, and if John L. Sullivan were any sort of Irishman, he'd rise for this. Would you mind if I borrowed this for a moment? Thank you. Well, of course, the rest is history. John L. took one slight inhalation of corned beef and cabbage and turned into a raging tiger. Sullivan was the new champion.
What a fighter he was, Mr. Peabody. Probably the most famous of all time.
True, Sherman, but his manager was equally famous.
Mr. O'Hara?
Oh, yes, he joined the Marines and became the most talked-about celebrity of our time.
I never heard of him, Mr. Peabody.
Really, Sherman? You never heard of Marine O'Hara? Ha ha.
Last time, as you undoubtedly recall, Boris and Natasha popped up disguised as Mojave Max, a grizzled old prospector, and his sidekick, Death Valley Dottie. But what's even worse, our hero's train has started to leave without them.
Hey!
Why are they gone without us, Rock?
I'm sure I don't know.
Well, we do, don't we? For there in the cab of the locomotive was Captain Peter Peachfuzz, who naturally had pushed the wrong lever.
The brake, Chauncey. Where's the brake?
Is this it?
Good heavens, Edgar, we can't stop. We'll keep going forever.
No, I figure we'll stop in Albuquerque.
Why?
There's a big stone wall at the end of the tracks.
Meanwhile, Rocky and Bullwinkle were still chasing desperately after the last car.
Wait up!
You can't go without me. I got a ticket.
Unfortunately, Bullwinkle's ticket suddenly unfolded, and of course he tripped over it.
Oop!
Well, there it goes.
You go on and fly after it, Rock. You can still catch it.
And leave my pal stranded here? Never.
Gee, you're a real pal-type pal, Rock.
Look at that, Natasha. Sometimes I wish I had a friend.
Why?
So I could double-cross him.
You would double-cross, friend.
I got to. My enemies don't trust me.
Now I wonder how we get from here to Mount Flatten, Bullwinkle.
We got a map, you know.
Hey, that's right. Let's unfold it and take a look.
Right.
You hold this side and I'll hold this side.
And I'll hold this side.
Hey, Mr. Mojave Max, this is supposed to be a secret map.
That's okay. I couldn't remember what was on map if I tried. I got terrible memory.
Gee, that's too bad. How long have you had it?
Had what?
A terrible memory.
There, you see what I mean?
Well, maybe it's okay. Now, which way is Mount Flatten?
The boys and Boris searched the map carefully, but Mount Flatten seemed to be a very elusive peak.
Gee, this map is pretty useless.
Maybe you can't get there from here.
Nonsense, Bullwinkle. Let's just pick a direction and start looking.
Right. How do we pick it?
Let's Let's just toss a pebble into the air and see which way it falls.
How about this one, little fellow?
Too small.
How about this one?
Too big. Hey, Bullwinkle, look at that rock.
Yeah, it's a full-grown one, ain't it?
No, there on the side.
Sure enough, Bullwinkle seemed to have accidentally discovered a primitive road marker.
To Mount Flatten. Come on, Bullwinkle. At last we're going to find your lost mine.
You saw it, kiddo. Let's go.
You coming too, Mr. Mojave Max?
We better let him, Bullwinkle. We don't know anything about mining.
That's right. Maybe he'll help us.
And our boys started little realizing that Boris is more likely to help himself to their mine.
Say, your partner's got quite a load there. Don't you have a mule?
No.
But I thought all grizzled old prospectors had a mule.
We got a low-budget show.
Ooh. Well, let me give you help there, Death Valley Dottie.
Mighty kind of you, partner, darling.
Hey, there's another direction marker. We're going the right way, all right.
And there's another one right up there.
Oh, boy, we're getting closer, Natasha.
But as they drew near the last marker, the boys made a horrifying discovery.
Bullwinkle, the arrow's pointing back the way we came.
You mean we missed it?
We must have.
But looky, there's no mountain anywhere around here.
Well, whoever said Mount Flatten was a lost mountain apparently wasn't kidding. What will our heroes do now?
Well, if you think of anything, let us know, won't you?
And be sure to be with us next time for The Missing Mountain or Peekaboo Peak.
Well, it looks as if our time has just about run out.
Just enough left to tell him who the sponsor was.
You got the credits, Bullwinkle?
All on this itty-bitty card. Oop.
We're late again, Bullwinkle.
Right.
Bye now. See you next time.